Hey everyone, if you are one of those folks who was tasked with the humongous challenge of writing a dissertation or a master's thesis, or for that matter, even a journal paper, then you may have come across a scenario where you would have been asked to cross reference a figure as fig. What I mean by that is, if you go over here, you have a figure caption saying figure 1, and when you cross reference this figure, so which says this is shown in XX below, you want to show the cross reference of inline text. Go to figure, only label a number, image showing figure 1. You want this to not say figure 1 but to say fig dot 1. If you've come across this situation, which is a common requirement for a lot of formatting guidelines for formatting guidelines for a lot of dissertations and journal articles, or even master's thesis for that matter, then this video is for you. By the end of this video, hopefully you will find the solution that I propose as an effective solution to solve this problem. All right, so what are the existing solutions that exist in the market? um, I When I was looking for how to solve this problem, I came across two prominent solutions, and I found both of those solutions to be ineffective. And here is the first solution that I came across. Obviously, one very direct approach is to change the figure caption itself to say fig. And how you can do that is go to insert caption, create a new label by clicking here, and um, put that label as fig. So if you go here, just type fig and hit dot, and that's how you'll get here. I already have this created. And then you can enter image or whatever the text you want to put, and that will give you the figure caption. So now if you go here and do the cross reference, it will give you an option of selecting fig 1, do only label a number, insert. There you go. It solves the problem of inline text to say fig.1, but also changes the figure caption because this is no longer relevant. And this is not really a solution because we want the figure caption to say this, but we want the cross reference of the inline text to say fig.1. So how do you achieve that? The other solution that I came across, and let me undo everything that I did so that I get back to where I was. Um, so the other solution that I came across, and this solution works for some cases and is somewhat of an effective solution, is using a bookmark. So if you move your cursor around the one, which is the identified link by word as a field code, then you can see that it gets highlighted automatically once you move your cursor around it. This just shows that word has identified that this is a moving field. It's a dynamic field. It's not a plain static text. So you can select this one by just moving your cursor and selecting it. So I just use the keyboard, right click on it, and you can see update field appears, which means it's a field code. Go to insert bookmark, name this something custom that you can like and you can remember. So in this case, I just want to be fig 1. Notice the problem over here, that if you use fig space 1, it does not allow you to add the bookmark name. If you use fig bracket 1, whatever, it does not allow you to add. If you use fig underscore 1, okay, that gets accepted. So there are only certain types of names that you can give for whatever reason this is designed that way. So let's just say the logical name is fig1. I add that, and now this is saved as a bookmark. You can then go into cross referencing and add that as a bookmark. So cross reference, select the list of bookmarks, which is here, and bookmark text. And when this is the identified bookmark, it's the name of the bookmark that you have given. But when you select this, it will give you one. So when you hit insert, because you selected one as the bookmark that is to be referenced, that's what shows up. And so now you can come over here and type fig dot, and one still says as a field code or a link, and that solves your problem. This is a solution which will work for small documents. It will not be an effective solution when it comes to big documents, where, especially dissertations and theses, where figures constantly get moved from version 1 that you wrote and to version 25, 30, 50, 10, 5, whatever version number that you finally wrote, and that gets approved. So to show you, like the figure caption will, sorry, the cross reference will update, but the bookmark list will not. So figure 2 will become figure 1, and all of that cumbersome details will come in. Just to give you a demonstration of what I mean, if I were to select this section and cut it and move to fig 2 and place this after this figure, which I already have here. So this is shown in figure 1. Here's the previous figure placed under the second figure. Now if you update the field, it will update the figure number and all of those details. Let me select this first. Go over here, update field, and this gets updated to figure 2, and this also gets updated to figure 2. So this works, but you will be bookmarking everything. So this will also be a bookmark in your document. So once you go to bookmark, this figure 1 is now actually figure 2, but this name, because you gave it as fig 1, does not automatically get updated. And so when you have 15, 20 figures in your document, and all of them have been moved around, hopefully not, but they tend to be, then figure 1 may actually be figure 15, figure 7 might actually be figure 2, figure 15 might be figure 3, who knows what. And this will become very cumbersome and sort of difficult to track and will add more stress. So that's why I just did not like this approach, and I did not go with this. I found another effective solution where none of this has to be done. So let me undo this back again so I get to where I was. Okay. So the solution that I found that worked was after digging through a lot of web pages, and I found this somewhere. I don't remember where, but I found this somewhere and it was hard to find, and there was no video to help me. So I'm just creating this so that other members can benefit from this. Here is a notepad document that I'll bring on this side. This is what you can use to solve this problem and change the field code. I'm going to let this be on the screen so that once you watch this video, you can pick what you want from here. But for now, I'll go stepwise and I'll cover all of these aspects which are listed below. But for now, if you select this portion, copy this, and now go to just plain simple cross reference, insert the standard way of inserting the figure, do only label a number and insert figure 1. It brings you figure 1, and we're going to change the field code of this. So in order to do that, you have to go to edit field. Before I go there, I just want to show you what the field codes are. So if you click on toggle field codes, this is what Word remembers the figure as on the back end. But if you toggle the field code back again, this is how it shows you on the front end. So on the front end, it's identifying or showing you figure 1, but on the back end, it's remembering this as that big number that it was showing. So if you go to figure 1 and make sure you select only figure 1, you have to be very cautious in selecting. Do not select the period at the end of figure 1. Just make sure you select figure 1. Go to edit field. Go to field codes. This number that had shown up when we hit toggle field code comes back up. I want you to change this slash h thing to what we copied from here. Notice that when you click on the field code text box, there is additional space between h and this end of the line position. So make sure you select that too. But do not touch this. Just note that there is a space between the 9 and the forward slash h. Your number might be different. Mine is this. So notice that there is a space. Do not change that space. Just select this and hit Control V. And I will post all of these in the YouTube description so that you can copy paste and save it in a notepad document so that the formatting does not come up and all of the formatting has been removed and you only have text. So select this and put it into the field code and make sure there are no spaces after the edge. So I have removed, and I'm hitting the forward arrow key and it's not moving any forward than this. So no spaces, and hit OK. And when you do that, guess what happens? It shows you just 1, but when you move your cursor around it, it identifies it as a field code. And so now you can put fig dot, very similar to what you did in the bookmarking, except you now don't have to create a list of bookmarks. And that solves your problem. Now, if you move the figure anywhere in the document, so let's just say if I were to select this, cut, and move it after figure 2, so let's say somewhere over here, and update this whole thing, everything should automatically update. Figure 2 gets updated here, and figure 2 obviously gets updated here. This, when you hit update field, will go back to figure 1, and this solution will solve your problem. If this is what you're looking for, that's the end of it. You can go back and pause this video and move away. But if you want to hang in for some other dissertation writing tips, then you can follow along and see what else I have to say. So this approach, which I just talked about, will work when you have when you're dealing with chapters. So let's say if your Word document has 3 chapters, introduction, lit review, results, then this approach will work. But notice that I have used figure numbers in chronological sequence, which is just basic Arabic numerals, 1 2 3 4. But if your figure numbers are either in appendix or they are following a chapter number, so 3.1 or 3.2 or 3.3, then this approach will not work, and that's where the other things will come in. So I'll just demonstrate what appendix figure and what chapter number is. Essentially, you just have to replace this and this instead of using this. But for those who want to follow along and see how it works, I'll give you a demonstration of how that can be done. So let's go to the end of the document, add an appendix section. So I have a new page here. I'll just use this. Let's say we have an appendix section called additional data. And I'm going to go to my headings. Notice that I have all of these heading numbers created for Word to identify which is what. And heading 6 is what I used for appendix. There are several plenty of YouTube links and web pages that can direct you on how to create this featured number list. I'm not going into those details. Um, but essentially, this is going to be important for how you create the figure number to figure a.1 in this case. So heading 6 is important, or whatever, heading 5, just note which number you're using for the appendix. In my case, I have heading 6, so I'm just giving that heading 6 and formatting this to say additional data. Let's just say that I have some text in the front, and then I have additional, I mean, there is another section in my appendix called validation. I'm going to call it a.1 validation, and in that I have a sensor which I validated, let's say. So here, um, here is some text, and then the next statement is figure a.1, which I want to say shows the graph of sensor data, or whatever the text may be. So if you want to then change the XX to figure a.1, let's put some figure or some image here. So I'm just picking this image, getting that here, center align, and go to references, insert caption. This is where you have to be cautious, and this is where the figure 6 will come into picture. Now that this is an appendix figure, if you continue to use figure, and I'm excluding the chapter number, it will follow the figure 4, which is what you would expect, because the previous figure was figure 3. This will come into figure 4. And that's what you would expect this to be. But we want it to be figure a.1. So that's a new numbering system that we're using. In order to do that, what you should do is create a new label, call this as appendix figure, and hit OK. I'm hitting cancel because I already have this created, and there it is. So when you do that, it will come up as appendix figure something, 1 or whatever. The reason mine shows a.1 is because in numbering, I have the include chapter number selected, and instead of heading 1, I'm selecting heading 6, just to show you what happens if I select heading 1 and I'm using period. You can use hyphen, you can use colon, whatever. I like using period over here. If you hit OK, note that it picks appendix figure 3.1, which is gibberish because um, it's clearly a new section. But because we created heading 6 to be appendix, the formatting shows appendix A as the top level heading, but Word recognizes this as a subheading of chapter number 3, which is why you will see on the left hand side appendix is so far indented, making it look like it's a part of section 3, which is why it's showing you as figure 3.1, not 4.1, not 2.1, not 1.1. But we want this to be A.1, right? So that's why if you go to numbering and change the heading number to begin with heading 6, now this will become figure A.1. So you can hit colon now or type colon and give this some caption image. I'm going to say another image showing mountain because I have used this caption before. So hit OK, another image showing mountain, and you get appendix figure A.1. Now, you don't want appendix to show up in the figure caption. So the good thing about this is you can just select, make sure you select from appendix and use the space afterwards. Just hit delete or remove that or backspace. And if you now update the field, guess what happens? The appendix word does not come back up. And that's a great thing because figure captions can be modified, but the figure number cannot be modified. If you change this to ASD, it will break the link. And I'd strongly recommend not doing that because it will break the link of the figure. So, but for appendix, the word, there is no field code link to it. You can remove that word and the figure caption will stay figure A.1. And that's a great thing. Now that you've created the figure A.1 caption, you can then cross reference it. So I want to insert that cross reference here. So I will go to cross reference. A.1 is not showing up. Why? Because we created a new label, which is appendix figure. So I have to find the reference type. In this case, that's appendix figure. I'm going to select only label and number, figure A.1, insert, and you get what you expect, figure A.1. I want this to now show up as fig A.1. So once you have inserted this, select the whole thing. Do not select the space. Do not select only till A. Do not select just till dot. Select the whole thing. Make sure you are very careful in doing this. Once you do that, same old procedure, go to edit field, field codes, and bring this guy back. For appendix figure, we are using this guy. So Control C, bring that here, Control V, and insert this and hit OK, and you get A.1 now. And so you can just come up here and type fig A.1, and this will update itself whenever you move the figure around within the appendix A. That's the catch to this. So now I have to show you where the limitation of this method is. Only for appendix. I mean, this is separate. We created this as a separate caption, remember. So this will not affect the rest of your document, which is a good thing about it. But the limitation is, let's say if you have another appendix section, which is appendix B, and might as well just show it to you while I'm doing it. So additional section of appendix is, let's say, the name of the appendix, section B. Automatically, Word being smart updates appendix B. I mean, updates this to appendix B and not appendix A. And let's say I have some more heading here. So this is additional validation, and that is called heading B.1 now. And let's say I have a figure that I want to show. So here is some text. Oops. Here is some text, and then copy that figure here. If you were to caption this with the same label, appendix figure, good thing is you do not have to keep creating this. So you can type some caption, appendix figure B.1, remove the word appendix, and you have figure B.1. The problem comes in here. Let's say I've put some text. The problem comes in here when you try to cross-reference this. So cross-reference figure B.1, only label and number, figure B.1 will appear. And if you use the same A hash A dot hash 0 / H, then it will not update to B. It will still call it A. Let me show you what I mean by that. So Control C, toggle field code, edit field, edit field, not toggle field code. Change this to A.0.h, and this still calls it A.1, which is not this figure. Internally, Word is cautious about this being figure B.1, but on the front end, it's showing it as A.1, and which is what we do not want. So the way to solve this problem is, because this is B and because this A thing was added manually by me, this was not a solution that I've found on the internet. I think I came up with this on my own. You can change this to say B, because now we are on the appendix section. Um, and then insert that. So if I go to, I have to first delete the field code, because if you just select this and edit the field code of this, you will get an error reference not found section, error, sorry. So do not keep doing the same thing on the figure. It's always good and easy. You don't want more stress. Just delete it, start over, cross reference, figure B.1, only label a number, insert. And now select this guy, edit field, field codes, go over here and make sure that you change this to B now. B dot hash space 0 space forward slash h, hit OK. And now it gives you B dot 1. So that's what exactly what we want. Again, type get out of the link. Make sure you're typing it outside this guy. Don't type here. You don't want to mess that up. Um, so fake B dot 1, and that solves your problem. Um, this is great. This works. If you move this guy within the appendix P, everything will be great, and as I had shown earlier. But if you move this to another section, unfortunately, you'll have to manually change the A or B or C, whatever that number is. But that will be only in the appendix. So that's a limitation of this method. Still, comparatively less effort as compared to the whole major document. Unfortunately, if you are one of those guys who has like 15 appendix section, maybe you have to come up with another approach and maybe share that here. In the future, I will probably have some better idea on how to solve this problem. But for now, at least for or throughout the other parts of the section, this will work. Wherever you move the figure, doesn't matter, across chapters too, this will still work. Only in the appendix, you'll have to be just cautious in naming it. But once you do that, it should follow the ordering sequence within the appendix section and should be great. Now, the third case is where some people prefer, or some universities may require, for you to have a figure number that is in conjunction with the chapter number. Um, Whether you like it or not doesn't matter. It's a university guidelines you have to follow, and if you have that requirement, so you'll be out of the appendix section. And in that case, what you'll be doing is, let me bring that image back here, because I had moved this image to probably give a demonstration. So give me 1 second, move this back to here and update the fields. Okay, so if you're one of those guys who had to use the figure chapter number, then instead of having these figure caption numbers, um, you will be you will have insert caption, and sorry, instead of appendix figure, you would have gotten to figure 1, and this would have been already selected for you if you were one of those guys who had to include the chapter number from heading 1. And so what that would have done is, it would have gotten figure 1.1 and image showing door. And if you just close this out right now, you can see that this has already been updated, because in my case, I already have the figures captioned. So if you go to figure 2, it should be showing figure 2.1, figure 3.1, because that setting of including the chapter number has been applied here. So let's say that is the case, and I am now one of those guys who has to do the figures with the chapter number. So if you have another figure, let's just say the same figure is also placed here, then your figure will be figure 1.2 in this case, and figure 1.1. And when you move across the chapter, it will be 2.1, like this. So in that case, this approach will not work. You will have to use this approach. And the good thing again about this method is, even if you move it across the chapter, your figure text or figure itself, this method will work. So within as long as you're before the appendix, so anything between 1 to whatever number of chapters you have, that will work throughout your document. So that should be great. So if you were to select this, copy, and paste it out. So let's just say, again, this was already done, so I'm going to remove this in XX, just call it XX, and then replace this with cross reference figure, and now we have figure 1.2 image showing door, but I think this is figure 1.1 as far as I remember. That's fine. I'll just select only label a number, figure 1.1, insert, close, just so that I can another. I'm just going to separate it so that I can follow better. Image showing door. This is shown in figure 1.1, and now if I go to edit field codes, instead of forward slash edge, I am inserting this 0.0, which is what I found here. Um, you can then hit OK, and this will give you figure 1.1. So now again add fig dot 1.1. Or in some other journal, some other world, you wanted to insert this as apple or ball or whatever, or cat 1.1, whatever that may be. You can add whatever text you like here. This is the part where word is maintaining the link. So if you go to fig 1.1 back again, this is shown in figure 1.1. Same thing you can do for fig 1.2. So let's just try that. This is shown in xx. Okay, so fig, we want to select 1.2, door another. Yep, that's the correct figure caption. Figure 1.2. Change this. Right click. Oops. Right click. Edit field codes. Change this to 0.0 forward slash h. Okay, there you go. It now captures it as 1.2. Fig 1.2. Good thing about this, as I promised, if you move it across the chapter, it should still work. So let's see if that works. If you move this guy, cut it out, and paste it in, let's say, chapter 2, and move it after this figure, so make it worse. If you then hit update field, this will automatically update figure 2.2. No magic there. Word has the figure caption number, so it's doing that. But the good thing is this also, the in-text citation also, or in-text cross-reference also updated, which is exactly what we want. Thus, the problem solved. So there you go. That should solve your problem across the chapters. Again, appendix is a different thing because we're creating a new figure caption for it. So everything before that is different and everything in the appendix is different. But it should be consistent for all of the appendices. Um, Now, this is the end of the video, but there is one additional tip that I have, that I found that will work for a good, I mean, it is a cool tip. So you saw that how you have to update the link every now and then, update field. There is a shortcut to do that. So if you hit Control A, of course Control A is a popular shortcut, you can select everything in your document and just hit F9, not Control F9, not Alter F9, just hit F9. Oops, I tapped something else. If you hit F9, you see how the screen refreshes. um, that shortcut will update everything in your document. So if you have like a table of contents at the top, list of figures, list of tables, all of those things will be updated. So you'll see Word doing or chunking some numbers in a big document with 200 pages, 100 pages, whatever. You'll see all of the field codes being updated at once. So you do not have to worry about going to each single figure and updating its caption or updating its field code. This will also update equation numbers, by the way, which is one of the bigger things to solve. But great, this approach works. So that's it. Hopefully, this video was helpful for you. Um, I know that you have to insert the field code for every single figure. Once you do that, though, your figures will stay that way. There was a if you toggle the field codes to, let's say, um, figure 2.2, if you toggle the field codes, there was an approach that someone had suggested. If you go to find and replace and update the field codes with that find and replace it, you do not have to do this for each figure where you have to go and insert the field code as copy pasted. So for 15 figures you can do it all at once. That was an advanced approach. I did not go through that because I just did not want to mess up with the links. So I went and did it for each figure. I found that to be a safer approach. As such, when you're writing a dissertation, you'll be building it over time. So it did not feel bad for me, as 5 figures at a time was not too big of a challenge. But there is a find and replace approach which I have not personally digged into, but if you have found that, it may work for you. All right, so for now, I think that's like a future work thing that I'll probably try and come up with later. But this is how you can solve this problem. Hopefully, this video was helpful. Bye for now. I hope you can make your dissertation writing a little less stressful with this approach. All right, bye for now.